Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? This is episode number 23. I'm just kidding. What's up, everybody? This is episode number 23 of Fourth and One, a sports podcast. Fourth and One is presented to you by Why Am I a Nerd Podcast Network, where everyone is a nerd about something. My name is Sean Farrell, and sitting opposite of me is the golden voice of podcasting, Matt Ferreira.
What's up, everyone?
And possibly joining in during this podcast, we might have a special guest named Chadwick Wonderlust.
C-Dubs.
C-Dubs, the infamous video spammer of group chats. On this episode of Fourth and One, we are back to talk about Chadwick Wonderlust, the fantasy commissioner election race, the NBA and the draft, New York Mets ownership, and Robbie Cano, the NFL, Matt's Harbaugh meter, and something that angers Matt more than Ohio State, and of course our New York Football Giants. So what's up, Matt?
All right, let's get this thing on my shit. Oh wait, no, we're gonna wait for the shit list. Sorry,
I was gonna say, you know what? Just go for it.
We're just gonna fire right into because I was all worked up about this all day. I hate Easy Pass so fucking much. They have the absolute worst customer service in history. You can never get through to them. They never updated my card. Like, I called them, I was on the phone with the person. I was like, okay, yeah, make this credit card the one that's applied. So if anything gets updated, changed, whatever. All of a sudden I'm getting a shit ton of violations in the mail. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I called them up and they're like, oh yeah, there's no credit card. I'm like, I literally spoke to the girl on the phone. I'm like, connect it. Like, fucking, like, what are you doing? They're like, all right, well, you have to pay these fees. I'm like, I'm not paying a $50 fee for a 50-cent toll. Like, I will literally come and fight everybody in your entire office. I'm not paying that. I'm not doing it. They're like, well, we can remove them. I'm like, good. I'm like, so are they all gone? They're like, no, there's still $200 in fees. I'm like, for what? They're like, well, because we can only remove 12. I'm like, I'm going to fight all of you because, like, so every time I go to the chiropractor, I have to get on the Parkway. It's a $2 whatever Parkway toll on exit 105 in New Jersey for those of us who might be listening out of state, probably just in South Kakalaki or North Kakalaki, whichever Kakalaki. I'm all worked up right now. And so today I'm like, fuck, like it says the balance is running low. So I have to call to add more to it. And I fucking dial them up. I can't get through to anyone. Try to do it on the website. The website's down for God knows what reason. So then I'm done. It took me like 2 or 3 times to call and then like 30 minutes of waiting to update my card again. Fuck Easy Pass. Fuck them so hard.
That's the rant we all needed to start this episode off. Wait, so let's clarify. Let's clarify. You have Easy Pass.
I have Easy Pass.
But it's just not reading your Easy Pass?
There's something up. I don't know. There's been an issue with it since I got my new car. Basically, there's been an issue with it. Like, I can't tell you the last time I haven't had a problem with Easy Pass.
I think that happens a lot. Sometimes I go through, it's like, cannot read tag. But I'm assuming they like look up my car and see that it's registered, because I've never gotten anything about it.
Yeah, it's just it's the most annoying thing in the world.
I do know someone that drives to the Easy Pass and just like waits for them to bill them, and then they just pay it.
Yeah, but they charge the $50. There's a $50 administrative fee that I find outrageous.
That's insane for them not to be able to answer any questions.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you're like, but I don't understand the logic behind that. Like, I just don't get how you can be like, oh, all right, no matter what, $50 fee. Like, no. Like, absolutely not.
So we are now an anti-Ohio State and anti-Easy Pass podcast for all
correct
the tri-state area.
And God help them if they ever combine forces. I'm just going to go in there gangbusters. Like, just everybody's getting their ass beat.
I'm going to jump around on our script right here. We have the NBA draft tonight. My New York Knicks are actually currently on the clock.
Ooh. Do you have someone in mind? Who do you want them to take?
I've listened to a decent amount of stuff currently where everyone's pushing for this Obi Toppin from Dayton. He's like a NBA comparison.
It's in a state I don't like.
NBA comparison is Amari Stoudemire. So,
okay.
As far as like changing it up and getting someone that actually plays defense, I don't know. But I mean, at this point, this is Leon Rose, the new president of the Knicks, chance to make an impact, start us off. We have a young nucleus right now, so they have to take the best player available. We have needs every position. We do have young players, but it doesn't matter. We have to kind of build that young core and be able to attract, top free agents, which
like the city alone should be the biggest draw, but like the Knicks have been in such an unfortunate situation for so long. But kind of true to what you're saying, this could be the chance. We might be seeing a renaissance for blue and orange teams in New York. So, I'm all for it. I would love it if the Knicks were good again.
So they're on the clock. They have their alleged top target available. Some of the picks so far, I looked at a bunch of mock drafts. They have not been what people have thought they were going to be at all. But I also was thinking, like, this year we didn't get to see any college, barely.
That's true.
There's no, I'm not familiar with any, and that's the thing. Like, I don't even know how to say these guys' names. I'm not familiar. The only one I know everyone knows is LaMelo Ball, just because of his dad and his brother, basically. But we don't have that familiarity. He's
get drafted yet?
number 3 to the Hornets.
Interesting.
Yes, number 1 was Anthony Edwards to the Timberwolves. Number 2 was James Wiseman to the Golden State Warriors.
I'm about to show my age here. Wasn't Anthony Edwards the lead actor on ER for a while? Does anyone remember that show? I gotta see if I can find that. Hold on. If I can, then Cam, you gotta post that picture up for us in the post for this.
No stat man, but I haven't been a huge fan of Knicks picks in the past. Obviously, Porzingis turned out to be a solid player, but no one liked that pick off the bat.
Yes, Anthony Edwards was the main actor in ER.
Yeah, can you please put a picture of him up? Because he looks completely ridiculous, and I'm just trying to picture him playing basketball. It's so funny.
So I'm hoping the Knicks turn a page right now. We can only go up, hopefully, but when you have an owner like James Dolan, you never know. But I think he put the right people in place to run this team. So here's to see who the Knicks pick right now.
Do you guys consider the Nets a New York team or a New Jersey team?
New York.
Yeah, they're pretty much – they haven't done anything until they're in Brooklyn. They're attracting all these top guys to hipster Brooklyn. We'll talk about James Harden later. But, yeah, they're a New York team. I think a lot of people jumped ship when they left New Jersey, but they also attracted a whole new client base in Brooklyn who was – probably, if they were Knicks fans, starved for basketball success. So let's talk about this Chad Wonderlust character ruining group chats for everybody.
People are just trying to sleep or mind their own business. And no, here comes Chad.
Bros, it was like 6:30. I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about.
He can't even do the voice. He has to drink a half bottle of scotch to get back in there.
No way, man. The Chad voice is so slow, bro.
That's also related. Thank God he came up with an alter ego because he was kicking off his commissioner campaign.
Oh, yes.
Started off strong, and then he just ruined the whole thing.
Completely off the deep end.
I didn't do anything. Chad helped out. Shut the fuck up, man. What?
So not only do you have Cameron James running for commissioner, but he has a Jekyll and Hyde alter ego that you never know.
That motherfucker will not be on a part of my crew. And why not, bro? Like, what did I do?
Chad, what's your favorite football team?
Oh, guys, I'm big on Penn State. Fuck you like Penn State for, dumbass. Fuck you. You Buckeye bitch.
I like it, Chad.
That's definitely not getting picked up on the league next year.
Chad, just for a Why Am I a Nerd official podcast network, who is your favorite superhero?
I like Wonder Woman.
Chad has hints of Forrest Gump in his accent.
At least he stays strong with the DC characters.
Well, Fourth and One would like to issue an apology to everyone in our group chat. That had to. I was pretty entertained. I think but everyone else I said probably muted the group chat. So any pertinent information we're gonna now have to get out via email or like USPS.
Yeah, we're gonna use the postal. We're gonna revive the postal service.
I watched the video.
Newsletter.
I watched the video of him peeing while he was talking shit to Rich. Like, this guy's a fucking clown.
Obi Toppin to the New York Knicks. Here we go. He was projected. He's projected to go top 5. 2019 Player of the Year. 2019-20 Player of the Year for Dayton. So.
Nice.
We'll see. I mean, he fills a position where the Knicks have absolutely nobody.
Will you get the jersey? Bless you.
You know my jersey rules. I don't even have a Ewing jersey right now on dock.
Wow.
So this is a Carmelo. I regretted it once he left, but he has kind of become a Knicks supporter and Knicks fans' favorite player since he left. Just for him being that guy that wanted to come to New York, and no one else has. So I'm not getting rid of this one. It's a good one. He resurrected us a little bit, brought us back to the playoffs. I mean, obviously,
he had a song. Let's not forget about that song.
I actually was thinking about that slam poetry.
Got Carmelo.
He had a song. He had his own song. So yeah, I have a soft spot in my heart for Carmelo. So, the commissioner election, this tandem of Farwell and Ferreira got support from Cameron James' neighbor, and maybe his running mate is questioning things after the upcoming videos of Chad Wonderlust. Maybe some confusion because they look exactly the same.
I don't understand how you're gonna get me involved with that guy. I had nothing to do with that. Like,
I don't know. He was trying to promote you. You know, you gotta.
Anybody that sees that video knows for a fact that is not me. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. Anthony did not back down. He's still on the campaign.
Should we get confirmation from someone? Do we need to find an outside source?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe with the first name of L, they could confirm who is in that video.
We're not bringing my mom involved. But she knows that's not.
If you ask her, she's just gonna send you a picture of Cameron James as Spider-Man. So.
And when did Rich say anything about not going on my squad?
He sent
an entire video
declaration that's saying not only him but the Republican Party
of
football and Trump are supporting us. And whatever.
Well, there was more.
We'll take it. A vote's a vote.
Just so you know, there was more waiver wire suspicion that happened today, and I am calling for a cease and assist. Is that even our thing?
Is that a new statistic? Cease and assist?
Cease and assist. Is it cease and desist?
Cease and desist. Yeah, just.
Yeah, I'm calling not only the martial law that I've already put into place, but a cease and desist, because there's some fishy shit on that waiver wire. And allow me to explain if you didn't see it. And Sean and I were trying to figure this out before. Cameron James, put in for Mr. Winston as well. But somehow King Kwan got 4 people off of the waiver wire, and I got nothing. And his first waiver wire pickup, according to the app, which is a timestamp, was the Cleveland defense or some shit, not Jameis Winston. So technically, if it went in order, it should have passed me, and I should have got that.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you one thing, because I'm kicked out of ESPN app for some reason. My account is like not able to get on, so I
You know why? Martial law.
The guy from Tekken?
Yeah, the guy from Tekken is stopped. He just fights it every time.
Aren't the timestamps all the same exact time?
No.
Oh, I'm trying to look at this now.
Here's the deal: is each waiver round is a round, so it's going to go through.
So it should have passed me.
But I'm pretty sure that Winston was his first guy.
Not according to the thingy.
Because he could get as many people as he wanted on a waiver if no one else put in for him, as long as he's the only one.
So if we look, okay, Tua legit to quit at 3:25 a.m. Added Salvon Ahmed, dropped to Michael Hasty. That's the first action. Next one we're seeing at 3:25, dropped Giant C, added Brown C, dropped Justin Jackson, added Jameis Winston. So
Thank you.
did you only have a bid
Yes.
in on Jameis Winston?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
all I had
That's
in
why you
for.
didn't get it.
Why?
That's why you didn't get, because his waiver priority was still higher than yours.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
How? If he's the first, if the waiver wire goes,
I think you're looking at it backwards.
what?
You're looking at like the last thing listed was his last possible waiver.
No, so if he was waiver wire 5 and I was waiver wire 12, it would get to him at 5 and he would pick up one guy. He would get one waiver wire. He wouldn't get all of them. He would get one.
Right.
Then it would go to me. So if his first pickup was not
No, because
You
if you
said it.
if you all put in, if everyone put in for Jameis Winston,
right,
number one's going to get it, and
Yes.
that's it. Then
But
it's going to
Matt-
go back
Matt-
to the top and go back down again.
Correct.
right. But Matt just said that his first pickup wasn't Jameis Winston. Yeah, you just said it.
He said it was.
No, it
It
wasn't.
was the defense. The defense went up first, but if
Thank
nobody
you.
was contesting the defense, then it wouldn't count against waivers. That's my
What?
understanding of it.
Yeah.
Like if he just picked up that defense out of nowhere, and nobody else was contesting. Like
It was on the
waivers
waiver
comes in-
wire.
Waivers comes into play if two people are going for the same person.
Whoa. No.
You're welcome.
That is never explained. This
You
is
are
why-
welcome to call ESPN. They do have a support number if you don't believe me. That's
This
the way
is
I
why
understand it.
I
If they say
should be
something different,
commissioner,
I will go
because
back and
all these rules would be specifically outlined. That makes
They've all been
no
listing them.
sense. That
They've
makes
all-
I've been playing
I'll tell you
fantasy
what-
football for a whole year, and I've never.
1 whole year.
The biggest tragedy of this entire thing is that both my quarterbacks will very possibly be out this week, and I did not put in a bid on Jameis Winston like an asshole, and I am going to suffer greatly as a result because I don't know if I
You
can
wouldn't have got
field a
it because
team.
the fix is in anyway.
If the fix was in, wouldn't I have gotten it automatically?
No, because now you know that I'm on it.
Oh my god!
Man, who
You
would
ever
have
heard
thought?
of You ever heard of that? What was that thing when the red coats fought the blue coats?
The Revolutionary War?
Yeah,
What
that's
do you-
happening. That's happening.
What's that
You mean that
thing?
you're talking about? I think you're talking about the Civil War because
The
that was
Civil
too-
War. The Civil War. Yeah, the Civil
That
War.
was gray. That was gray and blue.
Oh well, the Civil War is happening.
The red coats. Oh,
like
shit.
Civil War, like Marvel Civil War.
Yeah.
That's more,
Yep.
that's more relatable for you.
All right, Cam. Which team are you then?
Are you the blue coats or the red
Man.
coats?
I don't like Iron Man team only because they have bitch Spider-Man on it. So I guess I'd have to go with Captain America, but I don't really like that team either because I think Captain America's a bitch.
Wow.
So I was,
So is
I'm just gonna go with the freaking like Independence.
The Independents. So we're Iron Man and War Machine. Is that what you're telling me, or are we Captain America and Winter Soldier? Me and Sean.
What?
If we're running against each other,
I guess you got to say that.
Oh.
You got to ask Cameron who he is.
yeah, Cameron's got to figure out who he is, and then we
I'm
can
fucking
make
Batman.
memes
Like,
out of
what are you
this.
talking about? Like, there's no way out. Like, I'm Batman.
Batman would have lost to everybody in that.
He would have not lost.
He would have lost to literally everybody
Bro,
there.
hold on. For real second, I'm gonna get off topic in your show for a second. In the new issue of Batman, he gets stabbed like 3 times with a fucking huge ass katana and gets up like a G. Fuck Spider-Man.
Spider-Man wouldn't have gotten stabbed. Like, what do you?
Yes, he would have. We discussed this. This is not the show to discuss this, but we did say that if 7 people blew a foghorn at once,
We did
we'd
not
be
say.
like, yes, we did. Wrong
If you
show.
wanna-
You can't
if
say
you
it.
wanna-
Wrong
if
you
show.
wanna find
Wrong
out-
show.
If you want to find
Oh
out,
my
you have to tune
God.
into episode 26, I believe.
7.
Yes, I believe it is
27.
27. I thought it was 26.
7's coming up.
Well, you guys last time you guys said, well, the real number 25.
Oh,
but
we
this
just
is
did
number 20.
6. We just did 26.
Is that the one that you set it on?
I said it, but Matt like went over his head because he was.
All right, so-
No, it didn't.
If you want to find out what they're talking about, you need to tune into Yo, What Up Comics, episode number 26.
Get a bit off track here.
Yeah, to get a little more into it. I mean,
Sports.
Let's go to talk about Mets ownership here.
Love it.
What's your opinion on Robbie Cano? The news today that he's suspended for the season.
What the fuck for PEDs again? I actually had to get this update from our good friend who just got a pretty big interview over at Sports is Told by a Girl. Ashley asked me if I'd heard about it. I was like, I heard he got suspended, but I didn't see why. And she was like, it's for PEDs again. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Is she a Mets fan? She is a Mets fan. She's a Mets and Giants fan.
Okay. All right.
True blue. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure she's a Devils fan too, actually. She might go we might line up on all her team. Oh no, she's not.
I guess we'll give a shout out to her. Sports is Told by a Girl. She just had a interview featured on, I believe it's Babes in Business. For New Jersey. Check them out on Instagram. But it basically just gives her story. And I didn't really I've never met her. I don't know her personally. You vouch for her all the time. She's in the fantasy league, ignoring Chad's videos.
She actually did say she thought they were funny, so that's something.
Well, when there's an extremely intoxicated human being, that's making no sense. I mean, they were entertaining. If you have anything going, you could have watched it. But yeah, it was a very cool piece, just basically saying how she got started, and I guess from my understanding, it started as like a college project and has just turned into blew up. Like a side hustle for her at this point. It's interesting. She has other women on there writing, and we definitely need to have her on because
she's nervous to do the whole podcasting thing. So Ash, I'm going to call you out publicly here. We need to get you on very soon. Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't have a podcast. She just blogs, right?
Yeah. She just blogs.
So I think
podcast could be next level.
Maybe we can give her, this is an easy warm up to see if she's able to do it, because I think, based on the content she's putting out and how active she is, just on the Twitter sports community, I think it would be a good outlet for her to kind of expand her.
I agree.
I have some if this isn't able, if she's not able to edit and stuff, I have some connections, I guess. To get her started in the podcast world. But Robbie Cano. I mean, I like, as a Yankees fan, I was Robbie Cano started with us, and it's unfortunate to see. I hope that there's more to the story. But at this point, there's going to be a zero tolerance policy for them. What I am a little nervous about is your new owner, because he is a billionaire. And he is not afraid to spend money. And I think it's going to instill a little rivalry now, maybe between the Yankees and the Mets about after players.
About damn time. And, it's so nice and just refreshing to have an owner who cares about the team, who just wants to make a competitive team, because the Wilpons could not give less of a fuck. They were just about we own a team, but they suck. Maybe do something where, so it's awesome to have a guy in there in Cohen who just wants to spend money, who wants the team to be good. It makes me want to punch de Blasio in the face. He might be just under Ohio State now for trying to block the sale for almost no reason, out of pure pettiness. So I'm really glad that he failed on that, because let's fucking go Mets. Finally,
I'm nervous. A big topic on sports radio recently has been DJ LeMahieu, because he obviously, was in the MVP running. I'm surprised he didn't get a bigger shot at, winning most valuable player in the AL, but he's just been unreal. He's such a unique player in the sense that he just is such a good contact hitter. He's comes up big in big situations, solid defensive player, great guy in the clubhouse. And I don't see him leaving New York. So I think he's going to either be a Met or a Yankee. And I would hate to lose him to the Mets, a guy that's just really turned our team into, something to fear. He's a guy you don't want to go up against as a pitcher.
Yeah.
And, if he would go to Mets, it would be a tough loss for us. But you're going to be willing to spend money. I think that's a guy that they're going to go after, especially with Robbie Cano out. You need a second baseman. I mean, he could play third and first and second. So I'm a little nervous as a Yankees fan, but come on, DJ, come home, baby. Come to the Bronx. We need you.
No. Need you
all
more
right.
in Queens.
Let's get to your Harbaugh meter. Where are you at after this weekend? What were your thoughts? I text you. I thought they were going to rebound.
Yeah, I was hoping, and you're right. It was a big weekend for Michigan, but they didn't show up, and now I'm officially nervous to play Rutgers. Fuck, like Rutgers of all places. Like I don't know if I'll be able to hold my head high anywhere if we lose to them.
Yeah, what is your on the 1 to 10? 1 he's gone, 10 he's staying. Where are you at?
Oh, it's like a 1.5, 2.
Yeah. Do you know other Michigan people that are like get rid of him or that want to keep him, or what's your your Michigan circle saying?
I think pretty much everyone's on the same page here. Is that like this can't be allowed to continue?
Yeah, it's not looking good. Honestly, when you play a team that had, they had 30 COVID cases, that means those guys aren't even with the team or doing anything for 2 weeks at least.
Yeah.
And they just
just completely outplayed like that.
I mean, their quarterback, I felt bad for him. I mean, he came out and threw those 2 picks right away, and that was it. He just put him in a hole.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. But maybe, I mean, this is sometimes what teams need. They need to hit that rock bottom and
then rebound.
Rebound, switch things up, get some new leadership in there. I mean, look at our New York Giants. I think that kind of happened with them. And you got the sheriff, fucking Joe Judge, knocking people out.
Fighting people in the locker room. I love it. I know that came out and was debunked, but man, do I wish that was true. I would have loved it if he was just out there fighting a former offensive lineman. I really would have.
That would be amazing, because just the visual. And I don't know if you saw, did you see the picture of Joe Judge holding up? It was from like him in high school or college. He has one guy on his shoulders. He has 2 other guys in his arms. He's just holding them up.
No, that's amazing.
I'll send it over to you.
How big is Joe Judge? Isn't that big though, right? He's got to be like maybe 6 feet tall. Like
he's not big at all. I'm gonna I'll tag you in a post.
Oh, I can't wait
on Twitter, and you can check it out. While I'm doing that, actually, I'd like to say congrats to a friend of the show, the King Kwan, Tim Whalen, for his baby announcement.
Yeah, congrats, buddy.
Sports related. I watched it, and congrats to Tim. Another girl on the way. But I was thinking about those gender reveal fails, like if he missed the ball and it just
would have been hysterical.
It just smashed on the ground. That's a unique one though. I have not seen the punt. I've not seen the punt. I'm
actually curious. I obviously don't have children, so I don't have any way to look into this, but I don't know where they get all these unique things. Like, who is it? Is there just a company you just send stuff to? You're like, we're having a kid. We want it inside of a football, and they just make it?
I guess so. I mean, I know the most controversial one this year was those California forest fires were started due to a gender reveal.
Yeah, that kid better be a freak. Holy shit. I just got the picture of Joe Judge. Yeah, dude, I wouldn't fight that kid.
We will talk a little more about that later in the show, but yeah, it's a picture of Joe Judge. We'll put it on the Instagram of him holding up 3 of his teammates. That's either high school or college. I have no idea, but Joe Judge is the man. I think that's been confirmed.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, before we get into some of these questions, tell them where they can find us.
Well, you can find us on Instagram. We're about to post that Joe Judge pic at Why Am I a Nerd Official. That's WHY, the letter A, the letter M, the letter I, a nerd official. We've also got Facebook and YouTube at Why Am I a Nerd, spelled exactly the same way. Spell Y, WHY. We're also on Twitter at 4th and 1 Pod. That's the number 4 THANDWON Pod. Please like, rate, and review us whenever you enjoy listening or watching, and please give us 5 stars.
Yes, please give us 5 stars. I think who knows what's going to happen with this COVID thing, but we might have a lot of time on our hands to record some more episodes and provide you guys some entertainment, especially with these new characters we're bringing along, such as Chad Wonderlust.
Chad Dubs.
I don't think any of the aforementioned videos will make it onto the Instagram, so stay tuned in case he drinks some more scotch and makes a mistake. All right, let's talk about some NFL. Alex Smith got the start, put up some big numbers in a loss. What did you think about his performance? Did it impress you?
He played pretty well, all things considered. I think it was like kind of empty yards though. Like he didn't have like really the touchdowns to go with it.
No, he was. I mean, I guess impressive from a standpoint that if I did that to my leg, I probably wouldn't be playing football.
Facts.
As far
Yes,
as
from
like
that perspective, absolutely.
a quarterback, I think they were playing from behind most of the game. He had to throw. I'm happy for the guy.
Oh yeah, as a human being, very happy
As
for
a
him.
human being, as a guy that had a lot of pressure on him as a number one pick. Maybe didn't live up to that all-time great quarterback, but the guy, he's put in a ton of seasons. He's sticking with it. He's a good inspiration story for this time, to see what you can do. I mean, even with a horrific injury like that, and
brutal.
Brutal. It's crazy how some guys can stay healthy and some guys just endure these crazy, crazy injuries all the time. But talking about injuries, Drew Brees has multiple rib fractures and a collapsed lung. Jameis Winston came in relief against 49ers and looks like he could be the starter moving forward. How should Saints fans feel knowing they have important divisional games coming up? Do you think Winston can pull a Bridgewater and keep the Saints in the playoff race?
I personally don't. Wait, sorry, hold on. The first question, let me go back to that. How should they feel knowing they have important divisional games? Nervous. Because the Saints haven't really been the Saints. They've been running entirely through Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas hasn't woken up, as evidenced by my fantasy team. And, fuck Ohio State. I'll never draft him again.
And Easy Pass. Fuck Easy Pass.
And fuck Easy Pass. Michael Thomas probably like advertised.
I heard when he was at Ohio State, he invested in Easy Pass.
Yeah, he probably did that. Fuck. I'd call him out on Twitter right now, and I guarantee he'd start a fight with me because he clearly has nothing better with his life. Do I think Winston can pull a Bridgewater and keep the Saints in the playoff race? I don't love the idea that Winston's kind of too much of a gunslinger, and the Saints' pass offenses run on mostly accuracy.
He's turnover prone. That's why he's not a starting quarterback anymore.
And that's why he put up so many yards all the time.
Yeah, they're always playing from behind. He's he's always throwing the ball and he's making really poor decisions.
Yeah.
It's like the Dan Jones effect. You're waiting for that next turnover to come.
Which
turnover free Dan Jones too.
He's been doing good.
Yeah, I know. Turning it around. Joe Judge is fighting people and Dan Jones is turning it around. I don't know. I mean, look, would it be a great story if Winston could take them to the playoffs and, maybe secure himself another contract down the line? Yeah, but if you look at how he's played, it's not going to be something that I don't think he can pull off.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I'd love to be wrong. I just don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, if we got him in fantasy, maybe we'd be saying something else. But the goddamn waiver wire.
It's all rigged.
It's all rigged. You've heard it. You heard it here, not the first time. But, let's start with the Vikings. They've gone from 1-5 to 4-5, 3 straight division wins. They play the Cowboys, Panthers, and Jags the next 3 games. If they win that, obviously they'd be 7-5. Can you see them being a potential playoff team?
Yeah, I think it really depends on whether or not Dalvin Cook gets hurt. Is really the base way to look at it.
I think
if Dalvin Cook stays healthy, I think they go pretty far.
They've been pretty quiet because no one's really talking about them. They got off like I said, they got off that really shitty start, and I'm not surprised. I expected them to be good this year, so maybe they were just rusty. Maybe it was something where they didn't get that.
Yeah, they didn't have it together.
Training camp, and they didn't have it together yet. But they're looking pretty good right now, and with the Cowboys, I mean, you would expect that to win. The Panthers are a tougher team than people thought, and the Jags, who knows who they're going to be starting at any position.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the Jags, man, because I honestly thought they were going to be a lot better this year, and now they might be drafting a new quarterback, which sucks because I love Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I don't think right now, because we'll talk about the draft order next, is their projected number 2 pick, Justin Fields, The Ohio State University.
Ugh.
Could be worse. The Giants could be in second and be predicted to pick him. So the Jags, it seems like just like a place where draft picks go to die at this rate. Ever since
Kind of seems like that.
ever since they lost to New England, like that was it. They should have been going to the Super Bowl that year, and things just turned around real bad for them.
Yeah, they tanked pretty hard after that.
This question was on here because I thought the Statman was going to be here, but we can kind of play around with it. Cowboys currently have the 4th pick due to tiebreakers. I believe Washington has the 3rd pick now. And the Giants have the 8th pick. What position do you see each team targeting?
Each team in the NFC East?
I mean, or out of these two, whatever you want to do.
Oh, sorry. Wait, maybe I missed something there. My bad.
Yeah, what position do you see the Cowboys going after? What position do you see the Giants going after? I think the Giants is probably the Cowboys, I feel like they have pieces. I feel like they got really hurt this year.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Cowboys can kind of make a rebound there. I expected Andy Dalton to do better, in all honesty.
Yeah, I agree.
I
think the Cowboys need to take someone on defense. I mean, they can't stop anybody. I mean, whether it's defensive back, defensive line, linebacker. It seems like defensive back is going to be the spot. The Statman, he believes that's what it's going to be, that they need a defensive back. The Giants at the 8th pick, it's just weird. I don't know, like, who I would want them to take. You know, I would love to see them keep building this defense up, but I also think
they need a wide receiver, honestly.
Yeah,
I think the offensive line is looking a lot better, especially now that Judge is kind of taking over. And I forget the new guy's name that they got in there after firing Colombo, or the reason they fired Colombo.
Yeah, well, let me I'll find that for you in a second. But no, I agree. I could see them. I looked at like who they're projected to pick. There are a couple linebackers in that range, which would be, in addition to Blake Martinez, would be nice to have some guys that can rush the passer and, make some tackles, strengthen that position. I've seen defensive back too. There's a cornerback out of Virginia Tech, Caleb Farley, who's the second or the number 1 or number 2 corner projected to go. Strengthen that position up. I mean, I like their secondary right now.
I like the secondary right now too. I could also see, I honestly, you know what? I'm going to take back what I said. I could see them going wide receiver. We need one, but that's got to be the 2nd round target. I think we need to go pass rusher first. We do not 100%. Have a legit like DN, someone to really put some fear on whoever we're going up against. Yeah. And that's something that would be a huge change.
And you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to bring this up. I mean, that's something after watching all these games against these NFC East teams, we're just not getting a guy in the backfield unless the quarterback's holding the ball for, 8 seconds. Like, it's crazy. We're pushing the offensive line back, but we're not breaking anyone through to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, we're getting coverage sacks entirely because our pass defenders do that well. Our pass rushers are just like, oh wait, here's an opening.
Yeah, shout out to former Jet Leonard Williams. I believe he has 6 sacks right now.
Wild. He's probably the team leader with that too.
I think so. But yeah, I agree. That's just something I would love to see a pass rusher. But I was looking at like the draft board. There doesn't seem to be like those dominant pass rushing DNs.
Yeah.
A guy that opted out this year in the Big Ten, Penn State, Micah Parsons. He's a linebacker that's his specialty is rushing the passer. And he's like an athletic freak. I could see that would be a great fit for us.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Because that fills a linebacker spot and you get someone that can, mix it up, get into the quarterback. But, I think the Giants, I'd love to see us just have another solid defense, just build how we built last time. Defense, quarterback that makes good decisions.
Yeah.
It seems like our receivers are developing well. Our O-line's getting better every week, whether that's, Joe Judge induced. I don't know, but, we'll take it. We'll take the wins. But we'll get a little more to our Giants later. But, yeah, I think defense is the way to go for both these teams. The NBA draft is currently still going on. We're at pick number 13 with the New Orleans Pelicans. The NBA returns December 22nd was announced. That's the start of the regular season.
Crazy how close that is. That's slightly over a month away.
It's insane. 72 game season. I believe I saw today they're doing the preseason is a 10-day period from the 11th, or I think it's the 11th to the 19th, so around 10 days. What's your thoughts on the start date and the reduced games?
I think it makes sense. The NBA was pretty responsible, I think, with the way they handled things before. The fans obviously want to see more more things go, more things happen. It sucks for the Lakers and the Heat. But that is, that's always going to be on LeBron's career. I feel like every time he's gone late into the season. So, his body's probably used to it at this point.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting for the rookies. I feel like they normally get a lot more time than this to kind of acclimate to being in the league. But we're talking about they get drafted tonight and they're probably going to get maybe a week to move to wherever they have to go.
Right.
And then boom, they're just straight up in the NBA. Like there's no acclimation period. They just got to play.
Yeah. I like they always talk about reducing the MLB season down to make the games less water. I think you saw how effective that was this year. I think the NBA with 72 games, at the end of the season, you get those games that kind of don't matter. Maybe this will lead to some closer races, some more important games down the stretch.
Not seeing people just sit. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe I read too, and I'll actually look this up, is they're going to have a play-in for the last playoff spot.
Interesting. I kind of like that.
I know there's a lot of there's always 3 teams that are contending for those last spots in the NBA. So yeah, they're going to have a different structure and format this year. Let me see here. We need to have the stat man, but this is fine.
Or at least Chadwick. We need.
Yeah, Chadwick Wonderlust, whatever. He's probably sending videos to the group chat right now.
Yo, guys.
Yeah, man, that was too much.
That was something else.
So let's see. The regular season schedule is going to be released in 2 segments. The schedule of the first half of the season was basically released at the starting training camp, and the schedule for the second half will be released during the later part of the first half of the season. The All-Star break is going to be March 5th to the 10th, which usually we're getting ready for the end of the season at that point.
Yeah,
which is interesting. The teams with the 7th highest and 8th highest winning percentage in each conference will each have 2 opportunities to win 1 game to earn a playoff spot. The teams with
two. I'm sorry, I think I misheard you there.
It says the teams with the 7th highest and the 8th, so the 7th and 8th seed in each conference will each have 2 opportunities to win 1 game to earn a playoff spot. The teams with the 9th highest and 10th highest winning percentages in each conference will each have to win 2 consecutive games to earn a playoff spot. So I guess they're going to do a 4-team play-in game. Yeah, it says May 18th to the 21st, 2021 play-in tournament.
All right.
The team with the 9th highest winning percentage in each conference will host the team with the 10th, and they will do a play-in game. The loser of the 7-8 game will host the winner of the 9-10 game in a play-in game, and the winner of that game will be the 8th seed in the playoffs for its conference. So basically, if you win, if you're the 7th and 8th seed and you win, you're in the playoffs. If you lose, it's a double elimination. You have to, for them, if you lose, you're going to have to play the winner of the 9-10 game to make it in as the 8th seed, which is, whatever. Why not? At this point.
Yeah, it's something new, it's something interesting. Mix it up a little bit. The NBA's been pretty good about that.
Yeah, I think they're forward thinking. They're looking at new ways to improve, the basically just the competitive nature of the playoffs. They're not stuck in one set way where it has to be that way just because it always has been. And I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for the NBA. It's great for the fans to get more basketball, essentially. NBA, you said the draftees have small time to turn it around. NBA free agency opens November 20th. Do you expect any big moves now for your teams? That it has been announced that the salary cap actually won't change from last year.
Interesting.
Where it usually goes up. Do you see the Magic doing anything? I actually think they traded their second pick away tonight.
Yep.
For 2 future
They did.
second round picks or first round picks or something. So they are actually not picking it all tonight unless they make a deal while the draft.
Yeah, I would hope they do that. I would love to see them make a deal, or at least like get a solid veteran in there. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I see any super major moves for the Magic at least. I think didn't Harden just say he wanted to go to the Nets? Yeah. If I'm not mistaken,
we do. That is our last question here.
Excuse me.
You're good. I don't see the Knicks making any big moves. I don't think there's really that big. Next year Giannis is a free agent, unless he signs with the Bucks for long term. But I don't see there's not that mega free agent that everyone's gonna go for. I think it's like pieces here and there that you can add to improve your team. There's not that guy. You're not adding the guy this year.
Yeah.
Unless you get him via trade. Chris Paul, though, traded to the Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That's an interesting. I didn't really see that one coming.
Yeah. And he was rumored to go to the Knicks. They gave up a lot of pieces for him. They gave up like 4 players and draft picks.
Yeah. It was pretty big. And how old is Chris Paul? I'm going to look at myself.
I believe how old's LeBron? They're around this. I think he might be like 36, actually. That's my guess.
35. But he'll be he's got the same birthday as my sister, May 6th. So 35. How about that?
So he's 35 years old. What do you think it does for our Suns team, who went undefeated in the bubble in their little playoff?
I mean, I think can only serve to really improve them.
Yeah.
Like I don't see a downside for the Suns. I mean, they granted, like you said, they gave up a lot, but
I think they gave up a lot of potential. Maybe not like they didn't give up. They have Devin Booker, who's outstanding. They still have a lot of their top guys that they had last year. I think they gave up a lot of potential for an immediate return. And like, you said, Chris Paul's 35. He's getting older. If Phoenix is going to make a run and they can add a veteran who's still all-star status,
then that's you kind of have to.
This is the guy. What do you make of the Nets coaching staff? Steve Nash is putting together. He adds Mike D'Antoni and Amar'e Stoudemire. All I have to say is one thing: no defense. They're probably not. They're not going to play any defense. But
well, I guess that's why they're looking to add Harden, then, right?
yeah. I mean, they got Durant, hopefully healthy this year. Kyrie is coming back, also an injury-prone guy. I mean, they're going for it here.
They're pulling the trigger. They're trying to get their own version of the Big Three. So
they put together the 2008 Phoenix Suns team as their coaching staff, who are scoring hundreds of points a game. One of the highest scoring teams, explosive offenses. That actually brought Mike D'Antoni to the Knicks, where they didn't play any defense and they were awful. So look, I mean, why not? Why not bring these two guys that know how to play in the current NBA? Steve Nash isn't that far from being able to play. Amar'e Stoudemire probably still could be playing if he, didn't hit the injury bug and kind of stuck with it. But it's an I don't know. I mean, you have the players. I think it's more about who you have in your team than who the coach is these days. You mentioned Harden. Russell Westbrook and James Harden no longer want to play with each other.
Shocker.
Who do you think stays in Houston and who goes? Where could you see either of them ending up?
I mean, I guess at this point, probably Russ stays in Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, even though Harden's been there forever, I think he's just ready to move on.
Didn't he say he's done? Like, trade me or that's it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's the rumor going around. I mean, if Harden gets traded to the Nets, you got Durant, Kyrie, and Harden. It's an interesting group of players because they all – well, I mean, Kyrie won with LeBron, was able to do it. But I feel like LeBron is a lot more unselfish than Harden or Durant. I feel like Durant and Harden are similar players that they just need to have that ball in their hands. So, I mean, they played together in OKC back in the day.
Yeah, maybe a little reunion, but I don't know.
It would be nice. I mean, look, it would be fun to see. I mean, just in this area in general, you have like the up and coming, Knicks team that's all rookies, and then you have this powerhouse all-star Brooklyn Nets. Who would ever think that those words would come out of my mouth?
Exactly. The Knicks are weirdly the little brother team right now. It's very strange to see, and it's not something I feel like will last. These things tend to balance out where two teams are in the same city. The dominant team tends to remain the dominant team. So I don't see it playing out like this forever. I think the Knicks will end up being better in the long run, potentially, as long as things play out right with this new staff. But for right now, the Nets are definitely the team to beat in New York.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at the Nets. Already tried this in some capacity when they brought in Garnett, Paul Pierce.
Yeah,
I mean, those guys were at the end of their careers. The guys they have now are kind of in their prime, so obviously it's a little different. But they gave up basically their whole future until now to put that team together that didn't really,
didn't quite make it.
Yeah, they didn't really do what they were supposed to.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a fun NBA season. Draft kind of fired me up. Oh wait, the Orlando Magic are picking right now.
Ooh, who do we got? I don't have it on. I know I'm a terrible fan.
The Orlando Magic. Let's see what's going on here, because I believe they didn't have a draft pick, or at least I thought they didn't have a draft pick.
They might have traded back up. I did a lot of driving today and working, so I wasn't quite up to date.
They're doing one of those. They're doing a little recap here of who has been picked. Let's see. Any notable people? I mean, like I said, we didn't have a college season. I wasn't able to really kind of see who was who in this draft here. So
yeah, I mean, it's kind of same, honestly. Like, it actually slipped my mind until I saw some notifications on my phone earlier tonight that it was today. So I'm intrigued. I'm optimistic, but I can't make a reasonable guess here. Which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is going to make this this NFL draft pretty interesting, because while we do have college football, it's just not quite the same. How do you judge this quarantine season? You've got guys on teams that aren't playing fully. It's going to be a weird year for drafting in general. I think
this is where I think, as a professional sports team, the money you invest in your scouting and like the guys that kind of can really pick out the talent are really going to be who invested money in that. This is where you're going to really see it.
Yeah, that's what you
don't have much to go off of. According to Twitter, everyone's saying that they're trading this pick, but I really have no idea what's going on.
We'll see. I don't know who we traded to, but pick up more capital.
Yeah, we will keep you updated for our favorites here, the Orlando Magic. The MLB has released their 2021 Hall of Fame ballot. Let's just cover some of these names here. So the rules for the Hall of Fame are that you need to have at least 60% of the vote the previous year, which traditionally has meant a pretty good chance of being elected the next year.
Yeah.
The three players that had 60% or more last year were Curt Schilling, 70%, a potential steroid user, Roger Clemens, 61% steroid user, and Barry Bonds, 60.7% steroid user. They're very controversial figures on the ballot. And do you think you're going to see enough minds change to get them up to 75% this year? I just don't see it, just based on the history.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying there makes sense, but they are pretty historic names at the same time. It's such a tough position, and especially because, I mean, I can't speak for others personally, but I feel like baseball, like, while yes, it's a factor, like, you can't tell me it's not almost more relevant in other sports. You know what I mean? Like, right. PEDs in baseball, yeah, they're going to help you, but PEDs in football or basketball or even hockey, like, I feel like it's way more impactful. And like, there's definitely been examples of guys that have done that before and probably gotten away with it where it came out later. So I almost want to say, like, if you're going to give them their legacy, then they have to be in. Like
Yeah,
if you're going to say that the PEDs change everything, then you got to erase them completely from the books. But if not, you kind of got to let them have it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're just historic figures at this point. I think the farther we get away from that steroid era, that people are like kind of forgetting
Yeah,
what happened, or it's not as like scrutinized, especially with this whole Astros ordeal of cheating and sign stealing. Wow, they took
which is way worse.
Orlando Magic take Cole Anthony, point guard from North Carolina, the son of former NBA player and ESPN analyst, I believe Greg Anthony, who was a former New York Knick.
Hey,
I was hoping he would fall to the Knicks at pick number 23, but he was basically like a 5-star product out of high school. And he didn't have the best season this year as far as what they thought he was going to be. His dad, Greg Anthony, as they're showing right now on ESPN, played for the 1990 national championship UNLV.
oh wow,
the Running Rebels, and then was drafted the next year with the 12th pick to my New York Knicks. So that's a good pick for the Magic. I like that. I really do.
That's solid. I mean, guard we needed help with, so it definitely makes sense. We got an abundance of big men. So
also, they're showing right now that Cole Anthony was apparently made his documentary debut on a documentary called Little Ballers back in 2013, where they followed youth basketball and basically followed him around.
Oh shit!
So I'll have to check that out. But that's a good pick for the Magic. I like that.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
A guy with a lot of potential, and he's definitely an intense guy with a lot of swagger too, which is cool.
Gotta love it.
Let's go back to this Hall of Fame. Here's the so your holdovers are the guys that are, I don't know if this is their last year on the ballot, but this is who's available: Curt Schilling, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, Omar Vizquel, Andy Pettitte, Billy Wagner, Todd Helton, Jeff Kent, Scott Rowland, Bobby Abreu, Andrew Jones, Manny Ramirez, Gary Sheffield, and Sammy Sosa. So all guys.
Gary Sheffield's already up there.
Yeah, he's been on the ballot. They have not gotten in after being on the ballot.
Wild.
For I'm not sure how many years. Your newcomers to the ballot are Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, Mark Burley, AJ Burnett. Wow. I mean, that just makes me feel old since he was on the Yankees that long ago. Aramis Ramirez, Torrey Hunter, Michael Goodyear, Dan Herron, LaTroy Hawkins, Nick Swisher, and Shane Victorino. The newcomers, I really don't see anyone making it.
Yeah, there's no names that really leapt out to me. And it's like, you have far more baseball expertise than I do. But there's no one on the list that I was like, oh, absolutely no question.
No, it's almost like the people that have been on the list are like, that's like an all-star team. And the guys that are like on the list, they had solid careers, but there's no one that was like, you were like a Hall of Famer. I remember when we did the NFL, we were like automatic. Like, you had Megatron, who Peyton Manning. Like, you're like Hall of Famer. The newcomers for the MLB, I don't really see any of them making it this year, or maybe at all. And I think that's good for guys like Clemens, Bonds, and Schilling, where they're gonna have to vote and they're gonna have to put somebody into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So, I mean, and how do you take one of those other random guys over like Barry Bonds? You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
right. And you got to look at it too, is like, now you're like in the prime steroid era where your best players all did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, whether you put them in and just say, hey, this is what happened during this time. I think it's just a good, Barry Bonds, if he didn't take steroids, he was still an amazing player previous to that, So this is an interesting kind of dilemma for the MLB this year. I'm actually curious to see who.
Yeah, it'll be. What's the date on this again? When is the actual decision going to be made?
Let's see. All ballots have to be physically mailed in. Oh, great.
Oh boy.
with a postmark on or before December 31st, 2020.
We won't know until 2021.
The results will be released 6 p.m. Tuesday, January 26, 2021, live on the MLB Network. How can I track Hall of Fame ballot and results? The results will not be announced until January 26th, but many voters publicly announced their ballots. So basically, there are a lot of writers that.
Speaking of this, who was the one asshole that said no to Jeter? Like just for a little bit of fame?
I don't think it was ever.
Really?
I don't think it was ever revealed. Yeah.
What a dick. Like, who says no to Derek Jeter? Like, what an asshole.
I know. I think they were like, I'm going to be the one guy and just make it a story, you know?
Yeah. And then everyone like was furious. He's like, maybe not. Like,
if you're curious who votes for the Hall of Fame, they're members of the Baseball Writers Association of America who have at least 10 consecutive years of covering baseball are eligible to vote. For the class of 2020, there were 397 ballots submitted, and the number of eligible voters for 2021 has yet to be released.
Oh, wow.
Each voter can choose between 0 and 10 players. Players become.
Imagine having the right and voting 0 people in.
It might happen this year. There's like, if you're stuck on the steroid thing and you look at the newcomers, I don't see anyone that could really be someone that you pick, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Players become eligible for the Hall of Fame 5 years after their final game.
That's actually less time. What is it for the NFL? Is like what, 7 years in comparison?
Is it 7 years? I think it might be around the same. Let's see. Hall of Fame eligibility for the NFL. To be eligible for nominating process, a player coach must have retired for at least 5 years. It's the same.
Oh shit.
So, interesting to kind of see who's up. I think this is like, there's no Jeter this year. There's really nobody. So we'll see what happens. I think you might see some of those holdover guys get in.
Yeah, wild.
Just because, which is a whole nother debate, is like, if you're Hall of Famer, you're Hall of Famer. Why do you have to wait X amount of years? Just put them in the thing, just
do it. I agree.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, before we get into our Big Blue talk, let's get a word from our sponsor. Oh, man. Well, let's brighten our spirits and talk about another New York Giants win.
My God.
Sent in to us by Snacks McGuigan, who helps us out with every show. The Giants get a big win against the Eagles and are now within reach of first place in the NFC East. How crazy has this season gone for the G-Men? At one point being considered a potential number 1 overall pick in the draft, to now being within reach of a playoff berth and divisional championship. What is going through Giants faithful minds right now during this weird roller coaster of a season?
I'll tell you what's going through my mind. I as excited as I am to see them do well, and I want them to keep pushing and keep improving, I don't want us to get a playoff berth. I do not, because the team, in my opinion, is not ready to make a run. We're not talking about like the Eli years where we could get in and maybe see some magic happen. I just don't think we have enough to really go deep. And as excited as I am, and I would love to see them do it, gotta love that. I just don't think we can make it right now. I would love to see it, don't get me wrong, but I think it would be more detrimental to the team in the long run. If we got lucky and made it to the playoffs, I think that puts us in a bad position for the draft, and then we can't continue the rebuild. We're seeing highlights of what could be the future. We just need to make sure we stay on that path. I'm not saying lose. I'm just saying I don't want to make the playoffs. I don't want them to lose, but I don't want them to make the playoffs either. It's a tough road.
Well, if they win the division and their record is, let's say, somehow they win and they're 6-10, teams that qualify for the playoffs are always assigned the draft spots 21 to 32. So they could be 6-10 and be at the 21st spot.
And we're not talking about like the Seahawks a few years ago, it might have been 10 years ago at this point, where they beat the crap out of the Saints, in the playoffs because Marshawn Lynch awakened. I don't see them being able to do that because the Seahawks were 7-9 at the time.
Right.
I just don't think the Giants are capable of kind of making that push. I mean, they've stayed competitive in a lot of games. And I think with the way the offensive line's playing now, with the way the defense is playing, and with the way Jones is playing and improving, we get that team back with Saquon and we add a premium pass rusher and a solid wide receiver. That's a contender I'd like to see.
Right. I think based on what we've seen the past couple weeks, there is progress being made. And like, I agree with you 100%. I don't want to see them win the division.
Yeah.
We're not going to make a run in the playoffs. We don't have the pieces to do that. And if we do that, if we win that division, sure. Is it a great accomplishment that we can hold over Eagles, Washington football team, and Cowboys fans for 2020 and it being a shitty year? Yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones laughing because they're going to have top 10 draft picks. They're going to be, in this basically finish the season just as great as us with a higher draft pick because we're not making that run to the playoffs and beating the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
But goddamn, would I love to watch that. Like, could you imagine if they did?
Now, speaking of the Chiefs, they just signed DeAndre Baker. All I have to say about that is, good for him. I think the Giants at the time had to do that no matter what.
Yep. I agree.
That would be going against, as we found out, Joe Judge's character about, who they went with what the details they had at the time. And
which they had to do. It's unfortunate. I don't think they have any ill will towards Baker, but I think they just kind of did what they had to do.
Right. And, I think it works out for both parties. DeAndre Baker gets a second chance in the NFL on a winning team. And the Giants, they rid themselves of any headache at the time. Just a reminder for everybody, DeAndre Baker did finish, according to Pro Football Focus, I believe, the 116th out of 117 rated cornerbacks last year. So
he did improve as the year went on, but 100%. Damn, I did not know that.
Yeah, he was second to last. So look, we wish him the best of luck. I'm not going to use the Knicks line because I think it's so shitty that they always say once a Knick, always a Knick. We've had some pretty shitty Knicks here. So just because you're once a Giant, it doesn't mean you're always a Giant. But we wish him the best of luck.
Yeah.
Joe Judge, rumored to have fist fought former offensive line coach Mark Colombo, which ends up in Mark Colombo getting fired. What was your initial reaction when you said that? I was just imagining it in my head.
So was I. And Judge isn't that big of a guy. Colombo is a very big guy. I'm like, that must have been such an epic battle. I'm picturing, Colombo throwing jabs and Judge just, dodging him, giving a quick 1-2, stepping back. I just loved it. It's a very un-Giants thing, and it turned out to be untrue, but my God, did I love it.
Yeah, I think his playing height was 6'8".
Yeah, 300.
Yeah, and then I just imagine Joe Judge, every time he's fired up on the sideline, he's always cursing up a storm. Him just going in there and just getting a couple shots in, and then just getting thrown.
Yeah,
those are just rumors. They apparently did not get in a fist fight. However, due to those rumors, I'm assuming that whatever they did get in an argument about was probably
pretty heated. It had to have been
pretty heated to start those rumors. So apparently, what I found out, and this is just from reading Twitter and trying to keep up to date with the story, is that basically Judge started, since he was a special teams coach, he also learned under Belichick where you got to be involved with everyone on your team. So he knew how to coach some sort of offensive line to some extent. Went over to that side of the ball when he sees Andrew Thomas, they're getting criticized for him. The offensive line's not making progress, and basically saw that, I guess he didn't like what he saw. Basically how Colombo dealt with his offensive line, and push comes to shove, and that's it. He gets rid of him. If Joe Judge wants something and he doesn't like you, or he has a standard that he's going to hold everyone to, you better believe that that's a standard it's going to be kept to that level. And I think we've seen that just with a lot of decisions he's made. So I guess a couple of weeks ago also, he brings in former New York Giants Super Bowl offensive line coach, I don't know how to pronounce this.
I can't either.
DeGlamo, who also turned around the Colts offensive line in 2017. And he was the Giants offensive line coach for 4 years, 2008 Super Bowl offensive line coach right there.
Yeah, so let's go. That's the move we need.
Coached with Judge with the Patriots in 2015. Brings him in. I mean, look, the guy obviously knows how to coach offensive line. Mark Colombo, he had so much talent with the Cowboys. Came from the Cowboys with Jason Garrett. So much talent that sometimes it's hard to gauge how good of a coach you are when you have the best players. When you do more with less, I think that shows a little more about what kind of coach you can be. Either way, the Joe Judge fistfight story is one that is going to live in Giants lore for a while, or at least.
Oh, yeah.
We mentioned it, talking about the Giants' outlook for the season. Any thoughts on the Eagles game? Anything that stood out?
I mean, they stuck through. They didn't turn the ball over, and they played a full 4 quarters. Like this is a sign of, like, I think things to come. I think we've got a bright future ahead if they can just kind of stay on this path. I kind of thought, from the first few games of the season, we were going to need a lot more. Excuse me, but the team being as competitive as they are, even with games we've lost, I'm encouraged. I'm not super optimistic for this year, but I think going forward, I'm hoping we can do something like what the Dolphins are. Shout to the Fins dude here, because they're
shouts to our new offensive line coach. Also was the Dolphins offensive line coach when Patrick Grant was the defensive coordinator. So that's I agree. I think if we can, I think we are on the right trajectory, and I don't know how the rest of the season is going to turn out. I do think there's some games we can win. I hope we don't take advantage of all of those games and put ourselves in a spot where, like we said before, we don't want to be, getting knocked out in the first round and, having this not over, below 500 record and just kind of sitting with a shitty draft pick.
And plus, that's a pretty dubious title to make the playoffs with that bad of a record. Like, I don't want to be known as a team that does that throughout history.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I will say things that stuck out to me. Obviously, Dan Jones, 2 games now, no turnovers.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. When he ran that ball, I mean, he looked athletic and fast, and the offensive line's making progress. I think whether that's Joe Judge stepping in and kind of having a bigger role, you're seeing things where we can be like, wow, we actually might have a solid offensive line with the guys we have for a couple years now. And which was weird to me, is they're rotating guys in constantly.
Which isn't necessarily, I mean, if everyone knows their role and plays it, I feel like that kind of keeps them fresh. Like, to me, it's similar to rotating in and out your defensive linemen so they can constantly put pressure on. Sometimes you need just a quick break, just a quick, breather before you can go back in and maul someone. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, it's something when they talk about offensive line that you need to have that chemistry all the time. But look, if you have 7 guys with 5 spots to play and you can mix them in and keep guys fresh and guys are, doing their job, then why not? Let's do it.
Yep.
We lost 8 straight to the Eagles. Finally nice to get a win versus them.
Finally. Oh.
About damn time. So, it's weird, actually. This week, Notre Dame has a bye and the Giants have a bye. So I have no idea.
You have nothing to watch.
I have nothing to watch. Nothing to watch. So it's going to be an interesting weekend for me. But our last little segment here, part of the Big Blue Talk, I got some Giants tweets here. This tweet is from Alex Wilson, ESM, which if you don't follow Alex Wilson, ESM, and you're a Giants fan, you're missing out, because this guy is literally full of knowledge and positive opinions about our Giants here. I actually think he liked one of your tweets, one of your replies back to one of his tweets, Matt, at one point. But he
I
says
think you might be right, actually.
yeah, Dave D, which we're going to call our new O-line coach, has 3 Super Bowls to his name, many playoff appearances, and experience with Joe Judge, Patrick Graham, quarterback Jerry Skopinski. And if there's anyone capable of making this better, it's him. So Alex ESM, he also does a YouTube Giants thing, has good things to say. This one is from the Clem Report, who is Clem at Barstool, huge Mets and Giants fan. A year ago, I didn't know who Joe Judge or Steve Cohen were. Now I would kill or die for either of them.
I'm right there with them.
Sports are weird. That's what he says. Also a great follow. This one is a kind of a question for you, Matt. This is from Emperor Mara, Victory Mara. The Giants' record would be blank with Saquon Barkley healthy.
Probably 7-2.
Okay, I agree. I think that's.
It's very, very possibly 8-1, but probably 7-2.
Yeah, I mean, and that's sad to think about, but that's football, and it leaves you some hope for the future.
Yeah, I mean, well, think about this. Oh, God, this run pass option would be so disgusting if we still had him back there. And if we got a little bit more creative with the play calling, like stop running him up the gut, deploy him all over the field the way the Steelers used to with Bell, do what the Panthers do with McCaffrey, like put this guy in space and just make him a stud. And then it puts the pressure on. It's less wear and tear on his body from the constant carries and him trying to overcompensate even the way he did in college. Like, it's just like, my God, it's right there in front of you. Like, why are you
What could have been? Just got a couple more here. This is from at All-Star Glaber, Amanda. Remember when Matt Rule went to the Panthers and we were all ready to kill ourselves? Yes, I do. But yep. I wouldn't want anyone else other than Joe Judge now.
Judge is the guy.
And then the last one is really from the Clem Report again. Clem at Barstool. He posts the picture of Joe Judge holding up his 3 teammates and says, "You guys really believe the report that said this guy lost to a fight to someone?" So some good stuff there. Look, the Giants are on the up. It's fun to be a Giants fan right now. We got a young team that hopefully doesn't finish too well, but just well enough.
Just well enough. That's all we need.
But yeah, hey man, you got anything you want to finish up with? Anything you want to say, or?
No, honestly, I think we hit everything on the head. I mean, I'll wrap it up with my usual fuck Ohio State. I'll throw in a fuck Easy Pass on there. I don't know if we're going to have any other special guests make random appearances right now. Something tells me we might have someone show up in the next 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah. I would just like to say shout out to Chad Wonderlust for giving us his TV opinions. Check out on Instagram at Chad Wonderlust TV Reviews for the latest reviews on who has the best TV size, picture, and quality.
Please tell me that's real. I'm going to that right now.
I tried to get him to go on Instagram, but it got rejected.
Wow.
Someone already has that?
No, I said, hey man, I could show you how to make this Instagram. I just kind of learned. I was gonna do like cooking videos, and he was gonna learn how to cook. I was gonna teach him how to cook, but he wanted nothing to do with it. And I was like, all right.
Sure.
So Chad might get one anyway. We might just make one for Chad, and he just wants to know it.
I will give a shout out to Red Tank Brewing, who collaborated with Jay and Silent Bob. If you've seen Clerks 2 on their Moobies Milkshake.
No shit.
IPA.
I gotta get that.
Which is it's delicious. Believe it's guava and vanilla, and it's lights out. But Matt, why don't you just tell everybody where they can find us before we head out tonight?
If you guys weren't paying attention before, you can find us on Facebook at Why Am I a Nerd Official. That's WHY, the letter A, the letter M, the letter I, and the letter A again, Nerd Official. You can find us on Instagram at on Facebook and YouTube at Why Am I a Nerd, spelled exactly the same way, WHY. You can find us on Twitter at 4th and 1 Pod. That's the number 4. THANDWON pod. Please like, rate, review, subscribe, do all those things. We're so close on YouTube. And by so close, I mean not that close. We need like 20 something people. Like, please just follow us so we can make an actual, name here. I would love that.
Yes. Let's make that happen. We have episode number 24 coming up next, and then our big episode 25, which I think we need to do something special. Let's get a special guest on for that.
I agree. We should see if we can, how many people from the fantasy league we can get on here.
Bro, I got Chad's number.
How many people or fictional characters?
Yeah.
Also, shout out to my Chanticleer buddy, Coastal Carolina, Dustin Johnson, for winning the Masters. It's the year of the Chanticleer.
Oh, nice.
Year of the Chanticleer, ranked football team. Soccer team just won the conference. Dustin Johnson wins the Masters. So,
check it out. You guys are doing good. Doing big things.
Shant's up. Eastern Michigan's next year, 2021.
Let's go. Sure as fuck won't be Michigan from the looks of it. So,
thanks everyone for watching and listening. I'm Sean.
And I'm Matt.
Catch you next time.